Good day and welcome back to the Family Cyber Clinic. This week we're going to be discussing the nuisance of cookies. I know some of you may say, hang on a minute, nuisance? I thought they were beneficial. And you may well be right that it is beneficial that you have cookies. And I'm going to attempt to explain it in as simple a language as possible so that when you see cookies or the messages about cookies, when you visit or browse the internet, you know exactly what to do. Okay? So I know, as I said, we've shared videos about the place for cookies and why it's important that we understand what they stand for, what they generally do for us. And to try and get that message across, I'm going to illustrate with a simple example. Let's say you have your young one who loves gaming online. Generally, when you game, you're going to be storing scores. You know, you play a game and you want to know your high scores and all that. If you picture that scenario for a young chap who is online playing this game and he wants to make boast on his high scores, the only way those high scores can be saved within the browser is by using cookies. And you could have what they call first party cookies, and you also have third party cookies. But for the gaming experience, we'll stick to the first party cookies. So basically, it's a little file that the server that your young one is online playing a game on, the server will send a file, and you, the user, the computer itself, the browser, would receive that cookie. And it's like a pot. So any information like the high scores, nickname, and all that will be captured in that session. So that anytime the user, your young one, goes back to the website that he's playing his game on, you have the web server or the website itself able to tell the user, your son or daughter, what their scores was, because that cookie is transferred between both platforms, so the user and the server, and it just goes that way. So at every point in time, as long as the user has accepted that cookie, that information is stored. You have it's stored for a few minutes, sometimes just the session itself, and then you have persistent cookies. And I don't want to go too deep, but ultimately there is a place where a web server and you, the user, can have an interaction by just accepting a cookie. And that's what cookies generally do. Another example that I will use will be a shopping platform. You go to a shopping platform and you have logged on, you've not made your purchases, but you've chosen your purchases, but you've just decided to go and do something else. The only way that information gets stored is if there has been an exchange of cookies. So the web server, the online platform or portal, has sent a file. Your shopping cart information has been stored, and the online platform is able to retrieve that information anytime you go back to that online platform to continue. It will just bring it out from sometimes it feels like it's magical, but yes, it brings the information out, but it's only able to do that because there is a cookie exchange between you and the online portal. So you can see the place of cookies where they make the user experience as best as possible. But down the line, those privileges or the cookie experience, the user experience, they've been exploited and they've been abused. And in 2018, I think it was May, there was a regulation, GDPR, I'm sure you've heard it, that came on board to safeguard the data, personal information of people like you and I, so that websites are just not able to capture this information and do whatever they want to do. And so because of that, most sites you go to now would request that you accept their cookies. And the reason why the clinic is stepping in is because, well, at this time anyway, is because we need to get to a place where we are sort of reining it in, where we're not impatiently seeking to go on these websites, and we're just simply accepting all the cookie information, just so that we get to what we have come online to do. Now, the vendors, the websites, actually give you an opportunity to choose what you want them to capture. And I don't think many of us, even those on the platform, as trained as you are spending time to review that information. And I'm going to demonstrate it on the iPhone by visiting two popular websites. I'll go to itv.com and I'll go to corries.co.uk. And you'll see that any moment I go to these platforms, there's going to be a message triggered. But for the privacy and protection of users, especially in Europe, every website now is mandated to present cookie information, that we use cookies and we use cookies for this, all those privacy policies, and you, the user, has an opportunity to accept or reject. And now if you position your child before a computer and they visit websites, what do you think they're going to do when they see that information, accept or reject? If they're not trained, they're going to accept, and I can tell you they will accept all. But there is prudence required when we're choosing what we accept, and at least let's understand what it is. And that's why this video is longer than the shorts that we generally release every week. So please be patient with me. I'm just going to show you only two examples so that anytime you visit websites, you can make informed choices on how you want these vendors to capture your information. Okay? I hope that's okay with you. All right, so we'll go to the iPhone, my favorite smartphone. No issues with Google and Co, I hope. Okay? All right, so we go to the iPhone, and I'm just simply going to open it up, and that we go there. Yes, that's me and my significant other. So if I go to, we'll start with, let's start with Corries. You can see the message there. It simply says accept all cookies, and it also gives you cookie settings. Some websites will say manage as the second option. So it's accept all cookies. Note that it says accept all. And it says by clicking accept all, you agree to the storing of cookies on your device to enhance site navigation and all the other bits it's mentioned. What I didn't say whilst we still have that screen is that there are three possible reasons that websites will give you the opportunity to select accept cookies. Cookies are generally used for what we term personalization. So they personalize your experience so that you have a brilliant experience. And then you have session management. Session management will be to manage everything like your IP address, your name, and all that information that's quite techy. And then the last is tracking. They track you. And that, I think that's the sole point. I would say that's why we have GDPR. It's just the tracking. Why do they have to track us? But they tell you that they're going to track you. And if you read the cookie policy, it does say those things, and we're going to see it now. So you have accept all cookies and you have cookie settings. Most times, I can tell you many people don't click on the cookie settings, but this is the very reason why we're doing this video. So I'm going to click on cookie settings and let's see what it presents us. Okay. Cookie settings. So if I don't know why I did that. Cookie settings, and you see what it comes up with. It gives you the privacy preference center, and in there, it breaks down all the stuff that queries are going to do with your information. It says, like most websites, queries and apps use cookies and other equivalent technologies to collect information. Cookies are small data files, like I mentioned, which are placed on your computer or other devices such as smartphones and tablets as you browse this website. And they're used to remember, they tell you that, remember when your computer or device accesses our websites. They're essential, they say. And they go on. And then they give you an opportunity to say, allow all, as you can see. It says, allow all. Now, allowing all would mean that you're allowing them do everything. And if you take the time to read all the contents of that privacy policy or cookie policy, there's so much they're going to do. And so we as a platform were saying that they really don't need to have all that information. You could tailor make the experience. So you could just say, do only this, for example, and save your preferences. But we never do it. Well, I can't say never. Some people do, but most people don't do it. So allowing all is the same thing as accepting all cookies that you got at the very beginning. So since we've clicked on cookie settings, if you look, it tells you manage content preferences. So the first party performance cookies and the strictly necessary cookies for queries, they say it has to always be active. And that in a way would mean that these have to stay enabled for your experience to be anything close to pleasant. So you're almost forced to accept those two. But the other three, like you can see, it says third-party performance cookies, functional cookies. If you click on it, it tells you exactly what it's doing. These cookies for third-party, says these cookies that have been set by others when you visit. So if someone presents an ad on Corey's website, by accepting the first party performance cookies, you're basically allowing the third party access to your information, which I'm sure you will frown at. Some people may not, but some people may choose to frown at allowing a third party that you've not given any consent to have access to your information. And if you select allow all, that is exactly what will happen. But here now, you have an opportunity to say, well, I don't want third parties access to my information. And you do that by not selecting or making this setting active. If you click on it, it goes blue. That's active. If you unselect, it goes gray, and that's disabled. You could do the same thing for functional cookies, which here they say is used to recognize when visitors return to our websites. Now, that could be a fun thing or a good thing for a gamer, your young son or daughter playing games online, because scores will be remembered and high scores especially, and all that. Or shopping cart information for those who are shopping online. So that may be important. And since we're doing it, I would enable that. But at least you can see that you are making informed choices rather than just accepting all. And then you have a third one here saying targeting cookies. It says these cookies record a user's visit to a website, pages visited, and any links that are clicked on. That again may improve your website browsing experience. So you may choose to enable it. In this case, I'll choose to enable it and I leave it so. So I have accepted functional cookies, targeting cookies, first-party performance cookies, and strictly necessary cookies. But I've deselected third-party performance cookies. Now I can confirm my choices by clicking confirm. And that's it. I now have access to the website. But I have made informed choices on what I want the website to capture from my device. Can you see that you are in control? But websites are mandated to do this to make sure that they have your permission to capture your data. Let's look at one more example. I'll go to Safari this time. And as you can see, this is ITV. The moment you go to itv.com, you get this message. And it says, listen up, people, we use cookies. So to use this website, you have to either agree to them dumping this file that we've talked about on your device or not. But you also have an opportunity to manage the preferences, which we can see here under where it says, wow, hang on a minute. How do I change my cookie settings? If you click on it, it gives you their terms and conditions. But you can see, and I hope that's not making you dizzy, but ultimately it gives you a list of what exactly they're doing. Now, what will be interesting, or rather what is interesting, is I don't see any option here where they allow you to manage the cookies. I can't see it. I can see cookie policy and the one I just clicked, but it only gives you yes, agreed. And so what do you do in this instance? You want to access ITV. If you have to access ITV, you have to do yes, agreed. And the one thing that you can do if you want to make some sort of informed choice or decision is read the cookie policy and how do I change my cookie settings and things like that. Then you will understand exactly what ITV do with your information. Now, if you are cool with that kind of thing, then you can agree. You know, to many, this is a waste of time. It's rigid, it's sloppy, it's robust. But this is where we are on the internet today. We need to make informed decisions, especially on computers that we're sharing with our young ones, because we put them at risk when we make rash decisions. And so taking a time out and just knowing exactly what you're agreeing to. In those days when we used to shop at Curry's and Dixon's and all those places, you know, and you possibly go into a long-term finance agreement, it was so odd to see all the little, very important information in small print. And we found that many of us did not read the small print. And it was in the small print that you found loopholes, possible loopholes that you and I, for that matter, will fall prey or fall on. And so reading the small print, which is managing your cookies in a way, is important in our day and in our time. Okay. So for example, now I would have just said, yes, agreed. Then you have access to the video information you came there for. Most of us would do that because we just want access to the information. So it's important to take time and not rush through the internet when we are engaging or accessing information in general. Cookies have a place, but you have the opportunity on most sites to manage what those preferences are or what cookie settings you want set on your platform. It's important that we take the time. I'm sorry that the video is longer than usual. I've made 2 apologies now. I will not do that again. But ultimately, the time should be well worth it because we need to pay attention to cookies, okay? Cookies are, in a way, your friend. By law, the websites are mandated to present these options to you. So rather than accept all, we are saying as a platform, look at the print, look at the small print, read the policy, understand exactly what they're capturing from your device, and then make an informed choice. Okay? Long video, but useful. I hope it has been. Okay? We never end our broadcast without giving you an opportunity to like, share this content, and more importantly, to subscribe to the platform so that you have access to information like this on a weekly basis, and then you have an opportunity to have a live Q&A with me at the end of each month. Okay? We live to present all this information so that we get you, the parent, skilling up so that you can act as a defense for your young ones as they engage on their journey on the internet. I've been your host, Lawrence Edem. Until next week, when we do this all over again, God bless and goodbye.